Hello, America. This is Doc Holiday here. I wanted to give you a heads up on the coronavirus. As you all know, we currently, well, as many of you all may not know, um, we are still at a very high level of infection rates with the coronavirus. Um, in fact, I'll show you here. Give me 2 seconds here. Uh, um, last yesterday, sorry, yesterday there was actually 79,000 new cases in California, in the U.S. alone, and that is a very high rate of daily cases that are as we are heading into the new year. And the reason why I state that is because most years, well, the past 2 years of the coronavirus, once we get into the holiday season, we tend to find that there's a higher transmission rate that goes on. And that would be something that would be very troubling and concerning due to the fact that we are at such a high level of cases right now. As I take a closer look down in here, the cases per day, like I said, what was it? Yesterday, 78,000. Um, let's see. The day before, it was 78,000 as well, it looks like. 2 different days? Is that one day? Yeah, 2 different days. Wait. Yeah, 54 on the 54,000 on the 25th, and 78,000 on the 26th, and 78, almost 79,000 on the 27th. Um, so it is true that we are sloping down, but um, if you would take a look at the previous holiday season, we were actually it was 30. We were right, pretty close to where we're at right now. Honestly, 82,000, and this is 78,000. So we're about 9,000 away as we're heading into the holiday season. Now, of course, with this map, we were seeing an increase as the cold weather season going on, and or as we're headed into the cold weather season. Whereas this one, we are seeing a decrease, and hopefully that decrease will continue. Hopefully, more people will be able to get the vaccines. And hopefully the vaccines will keep their potency to make sure that that it would cut down on the possible spread of the virus. What I think that may have to happen is that we would have to start doing some self-monitoring to see um, what our antibodies levels are in order to guarantee that if we were to come in contact with the virus, that we will have enough antibodies to fight the virus, and that may be a determining factor upon whether or not you actually do need to get a booster shot or not. Um, um, but we there there is still um, well, a lot of people are not going to be eagerly going in to go and get the boosters. And with the varying, like with Johnson and Johnson, I was looking at some places where they were saying that they are like 9% effectiveness right now. If you had have received the Johnson and Johnson um, vaccine like 6 months ago or whatever. Let's see when. Am I spelling that right? Potency. I was right. Potency. Okay, type. It's supposed to be an E. Oops. Yeah, that was what I was looking at. Waning immunity. Um, of course, Kaiser Permanente decides they don't want to share information. Um, God, what am I? This guy. I am definitely part of the Fire Fauci brigade. But as you see here, there is little doubt. There's little doubt now, study after study in real life and in lab issues, that the U.S. and elsewhere, that people's immunity starts to wane just months after they finish a two-dose series of Pfizer COVID-19. Um, and the same thing goes for the Johnson and Johnson as well. Um, so um, there's that. Now, bottom line is this: when it comes to traveling and everything, you want to make sure that you mask up. Do not let your defenses down, even though you do have the vaccines, because a lot of people are still com- commu- um, commingling and without the mask or anything. I've even been guilty of it in terms of going to my apartment complex or something like that. So you definitely want to keep that in mind, that you don't want to put yourself at great risk because of the fact of the waning effectiveness of the vaccines. Um, I don't know, like it's going to draw into question as to what is fully vaccinated then. How um, within what time frame does your vaccination, within what time frame would it be, or what time span would your vaccine be um, last or whatever? You know what I mean? As far as like, okay, if you get Moderna vaccine in January of 2011 or 2021, would you have to get the booster shots now? Um, and additionally, with those people that get the shots in June, all right, would they need to have get the shots now as well? And um, with those people that have gotten the shots in January, would they now be considered fully vaccinated, even though they did get the full uh, two shots and everything? Um, you know, so at what point does the fully vaccinated become actually not vaccinated anymore, and thus we need to become rescheduled to get vaccinated again in order to fall under the guise of fully vaccinated? Um, that is a very difficult question that is going to need to be answered by the CDC and other powers to be. Um, uh, that's why a lot of people say that the vaccines are just one tool in the toolbox to defeat COVID-19. The other things is, of course, social distancing, hand washing, and wearing the mask as well. And also remembering that the masks are disposable. They're only supposed to be used once, but I guess you can use it for a day or whatever. But you can't be using the same one over and over and over again, and especially hanging up your car and all this other stuff, because eventually there is going to be some COVID on that mask, and you're you would just be recirculating it with whatever air, like if you put hanging up in your visor in your car. Um, as soon as you turn air on, you recirculating whatever COVID stuff is on that mask, um, and therefore all the inhabitants of that car will be possibly affected, depending on their vaccine level or how much bacteria is actually in the mask. So yeah, just wanted to talk about that real quick. Um, it's I would stay. I would try to travel as little as possible, um, uh, and get the vaccines. And if I do travel, again, make sure that you take those proper steps to make sure that you don't catch the COVID, catch the virus or the bacteria, or whatever. And then but that's pretty much it. But and again, the reason why I'm bringing this up is right now we are still at like 80,000 people that is catching the virus every day. 80,000 people, and it only takes you know just a little bit for a 50% increase or what have you, and we're back at we'll be back at where we were at a couple of months ago, where we had 150 or 200,000 people that were catching the virus, every day, um, and we really don't need that. So um, just keep that in mind. I know it's kind of hard to restrict travels and everything like that, but remember, a lot of the people that are ending up in a hospital or dying are those that are unvaccinated. So, uh, you know, and possibly those that are waning in vaccinations will start populating the hospitals at some point. And that's not the route we want to take. And we've had 2 long months of winter, and we want to, well, 4 long months of winter, just depending on where you're at in the country, that we got to get through, and we want to make sure that the trajectory of the new cases continues to go down and doesn't raise up, because naturally we're looking at a 2% fatality rate for those that are catching COVID, and if there's 100,000 people that catch COVID per day, you're going to be looking at 2,000 people approximately are at risk of dying as a result of catching COVID during that one day period. Because as you can see here, thus far in America, we had 761,000 people that have died, almost 800,000 people that have died from COVID in the last 2 years. And we're just over 46 million that have actually caught the virus in the last 2 years. And currently we have what is speculated at 9,358,000 that are currently active. I believe that it's actually less than that, because I don't think that these California numbers are accurate. But I hope they're not accurate, because it's always been high, and I don't believe that's the case. Because if that was the case, you would then expect Florida and like Texas or whatever to have a really high active case load, but they don't. They have like a fifth of what California has, and I don't think that is correct. So I think that you could probably X out like 1,500 of that, so that might put us at about 7.9 or so, 7.8 million people that maybe currently have the virus in in the U.S. So that is that. If you have any questions, concerns, or comments, I would love for you to go ahead and post things in the comment section below. And um, hopefully soon we'll be able to get rid of this virus, but um, unfortunately, politicians aren't too um, aren't willing to put the foot down in order to make this go away, unfortunately. But I'm gonna leave it at that. Thank you all very much. Oh, it will take 3 years for us to actually get rid of this virus in totality, if we ever say that yes, we do want to get rid of this virus. Um, I mean, because we number one, like we have a backlog, or we have like 400 over 400 million um, vials of vaccine that America has right now um, in storage, waiting on arms to put it in. But no arms are going to get it. Um, so as a result, we could be sending those vaccines over to different nations in order to improve in their vaccination rates. Um, there's no sense of them going wasted away on the shelves. In addition to that, we still need to license out the uh, the recipes for these different vaccines so that other companies can make these vaccines in other nations. Um, so I'm sure that a lot of people, you all remember that it was um, U.S. tax dollars that funded the development of these vaccines, and as such, as citizens to the global community, as we all are, uh, it should not be that the pharmaceutical industry executives or the pharmaceutical companies can keep all of the proprietary, or not proprietary, but all of the patents and everything in order, or yeah, they basically keep an ownership of it to prevent other companies from following the same protocols, or getting the same technology in order to mass produce the vaccines in other countries. This should be a technology that is free for everyone um, throughout the world, because this is something that is going to help all of us the sooner that we have um, all that want to be vaccinated. And there really should not be any discussion on it. I mean, we spent billions of dollars developing this stuff, and unfortunately, the contracts that were signed to make these vaccines were signed by Republicans. So, they were putting in that, okay, the government is going to finance this stuff, billions and billions of dollars to these companies, but the companies are going to reap all the financial gain of this dramatic or expansive investment that taxpayers provided for the companies um, fund the research, in order to develop all of the medical stuff, in order to do all of the testings, um, and as far as building production facilities and capabilities. It was billions of dollars that the United States government and taxpayers invested in these companies in order to get them started. And I believe that it is the responsibilities of these companies to make sure that the wealth of information gained by the investment from the taxpayers is shared throughout society in order to benefit society as a whole, because it will aid in benefiting the U.S. citizens that paid for the the, technology in the first place. Um, so yeah, and you know, in other countries, they are drastically in search for more vaccines, but they're not able to get them. I mean, we probably met like a half of 1% of the demand in Africa, or we probably met like 30% of the demand in Latin America, and so on and so on. So this is a fight, a global pandemic that was forced upon us, unfortunately. But we need to act as a global community in order to solve the situation. So I'm hoping that everyone is in agreement of that, and that more voices would start coming together to demand change, and demand that our policies are implemented for the betterment of not just these companies, but for society at large. Um, but thank you all very much, and y'all have a blessed day. Bye-bye.